Welcome to the suburbs with Andy and Greg. Did you watch the Derby?
I did.
I turned on the TV 0 minutes yesterday.
Who won? It was a horse.
Oh, was it? It wasn't a woman in a hat that looked like a horse?
Coming around oh, look, it's a camel.
That'd be hilarious.
Coming from behind.
I had the opportunity to take Carly on a gig with me when she was in kindergarten to Denver. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, this would be fun. We'll drive so that we can stop at a hotel and she can swim in a swimming pool and, you know, all of that stuff. So we're on our way to Denver, Colorado, and I go over this rise, herd of camels.
Toto, we're not in Dubai any longer.
A herd of camels.
Really?
Yes.
Lost.
Took a wrong turn in
Kansas.
So what would you be breeding those for?
Christmas Eve services at churches.
There's a giant demand for camels.
We've had alpaca at our church before, walking down the aisle.
Walking down the aisle?
Yeah, somebody brought alpaca once.
Inside?
Inside. Facility manager was quite nervous about it.
Do you think? Because you know where my mind goes.
Potential accidents.
Totally.
Yeah, maybe they had diapers. I think they might have had a donkey one year, too.
Did they?
For Palm Sunday.
I felt like the donkey a few times. You are a happening church when you've got a live nativity scene. So wait a minute. There's music playing that's alpaca music.
The alpaca theme song.
Right.
Whatever that might be. We could Google that.
John Tesh knows. He's scored that. Is it like one of those deals like at a sports card show where Pete Rose shows up for a fee?
Just kind of like a drive-by.
Is it?
Yeah. Get that thing out of here as quick as possible.
Flop sweats going on with the guy.
Who ordered this f***ing alpaca?
I was thinking about the whole talking to strangers thing on my way over here.
And you felt compelled to just pick up the phone and dial some random person?
Actually, some random person texted me. Yes, two.
You're like, oh, yeah, I'm in.
Two random people. One of them was
Nigerian prince.
Was not. No, he emailed me.
How much money do he have for you?
Millions.
All you got to do is just call him back and get the ball rolling.
He didn't leave a number. I had to email him back. I don't know how that works. I mean, does he become your pen pal for a while? You deposit a certain amount of money to set up the account so that I can deposit the millions and flee the country?
It's like a loan. You give me this and I'll do what I need to do. Then I'll send it right back to you with interest. I promise.
You've got to be so old you don't even know how to get to the grocery anymore to fall for that. I was in a meeting and our CEO drops this guy's name he believes in and has tapped for knowledge countless times. You know, he picks up the phone. I know who I can call. I could call Dave. You know, and he picks up Dave. Dave's like, yeah, I can help you. 5 days later, he still hasn't heard from Dave. Dave's got nothing. And it's like that year after year after year. You are the definition of insanity here, dude. Oh, I know Dave. He sells bombs. What? You don't hear that in a business meeting very often. Sells bombs.
Somebody has to.
You knew he sold bombs, didn't you? And I'm sitting there like, I didn't know he did anything. I've never seen work product one from this dude. But apparently somebody else has.
He was in Hiroshima at one point.
Dave was?
Yeah. Picking sites. Site survey. This place looks good. Let's decimate it.
So anyway, back to the Kentucky Derby.
It was won by not the one they expected to win.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Vegas odds
Correct.
Horse?
I think that horse came in second or third, and some other horse came from behind and just shoved his way right up through the pack, and it was literally by a nostril.
Was it?
I mean, it was crazy. As you know, they call it the fastest 2 minutes in sports.
No, I didn't know that.
Well, they call it the fastest 2 minutes in sports.
Do they? I hadn't heard that before. Since I've seen you, I've been at 2 weddings and a funeral.
Oh, I've seen that movie.
Yeah. So my friend from the lake that I got many of the tickets with, his mom passed away. I went up to the services. You know how a lot of times you go to church for a meal after burial?
Sure.
This was like, the Grand Ballroom at Union Station.
Yes.
It was at Fort Wayne's Grand Ballroom.
Swanky.
It was very swanky. And his kids make their own bow ties. They're doctors. Their big thing is bow ties. I saw a picture of one of them in the infield at the Kentucky Derby with his bow ties.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Did they serve the mixed fruit salad from Costco?
No, it was actually a catered meal.
Real food, not Costco food.
China, real silverware, filet.
Like flying to Costa Rica.
Guess it was without the flight.
Yeah, right.
No fear of hijacking here. You know, the room store is closing.
It is.
I didn't know it until I passed the 9,000 signs that were out in front of the store.
Liquidation sale. Everything must go.
Do you not see the first 500 signs?
I want to buy the sign.
We're going to turn it into a room of nothing but flies, and so the doors go to. But seriously, I mean, you're liquidating a store, and you feel like 500 signs out front isn't enough. You have to put another 500 in order to make sure that people see that you're going out of business.
It's like they're proud of it.
It's a cry for help. Did your parents not love you? Look at me, look at me. Hey, 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 hey. And then they got the guy dressed up like the Statue of Liberty, you know, swinging a sign on top of it.
I know that guy.
Do you?
He's busy during tax season.
He is very busy. He's the opening act at the comedy club coming up. I'm going to be somebody.
I remember seeing a juggler as an opening act at a concert once.
Chris Bliss, the boss of the balls. Was it a Michael Jackson concert?
Oh, it was a Emerson, Lake and Powell concert.
Palmer got mad and Powell stepped in?
Kinda. He was busy that week. There's a whole backstory to that.
Okay. Is it funny?
No.
Drama?
Sad.
Sad?
Finally found another drummer with the last name of P. You're in. Parker? No. Powell? He plays drums. Sign him up.
Does he have a snare? Yes. Okay.
Good. The opening act was Henry Lee Summer. It was interesting because the crowd was not into him at all.
Chris?
Yes.
Well, they came to see ELP.
Well, they came to see Henry Lee Summer, actually.
Oh, did
Which was very sad. By the end of his set, he won them over. He's maybe used to that, the way it is.
glow-in-the-dark balls. I mean, what are you going to do?
And then after Henry Lee played, people left.
Wow. Really?
I would have preferred to come late.
Yeah.
When I saw John Mellencamp down at the Ryman Auditorium last year, his tour was sponsored by Turner Classic Movie Channel.
Really?
And it's the only time he's ever had a tour sponsor.
Turner Classic. They aren't colorizing, are they?
John attributes many of those famous movies to have inspired him as his persona and his lyrics. The lyrics from Small Town kind of are taken from dialogue from a movie, and James Dean and On the Waterfront and that kind of stuff all was sort of shaped who he is. So he thought they'd run a 30-minute documentary of classic scenes from classic movies with a little bit of intercut conversation with the guy from TCM and John explaining this. I was the only one I think that knew this was coming because my friends were in the band and said, we got this documentary as the opening act. I told Jennifer, be prepared. And the crowds kind of in every market just are unruly and not getting it. Play some music. We didn't prepare to see a movie.
So the Yes guy that has a TED Talk about album art,
Yeah.
and everybody buys in
Yeah.
and listens to him.
Yeah.
But the 30-minute documentary on Turner movies
No bueno.
ends up in a bar fight,
Basically.
which is John Mellencamp before he stopped drinking.
It was ugly. People were getting unruly.
Wow.
Shouting.
And you're like, shh, I want to hear this. What's this black and white movie thing?
Is your projector broke?
Who does this?
Played pink houses.
What did you do before cable? Chiseled on tablets.
You clicked the channel changer to find one of those 3 channels.
We passed Easter recently, and I know that last year we had a podcast about Easter and events. I had forgotten one that was very important to my kids. We walked out to do the Easter egg hunt, and the cat had killed a rabbit and put its head at the front door for us.
The Easter
On
Bunny.
Easter.
Oh, look, the Easter Bunny's here. Oh, a gory mess. Pay no attention to that, kids.
Really happened. Yesterday, I'm in the middle of mowing mom's yard, dad's yard, my yard, anybody else that wants to like throw their hat in the ring.
Should have swung by here.
I could have done it. I was definitely in mowing mode. My next door neighbor, Adam, has one of those electric mowers. I saw that you've got the same brand, I think, Weed Eater.
Yes.
So his mower is like that. And I don't know how many charges it takes for him to get through to to actually mow the yard versus the next guy over who's got a robot mowing his.
They have riding mowers, electric, that each wheel has a battery. So there's 4 motors. Talk about some serious battery power.
If you want backup batteries, you got to get 4 more.
They're like $150 a piece.
And I wonder what's the lifespan of a wheel battery.
It's like a Tesla lawnmower.
So anyway, he's doing his mowing, and Geoffrey goes on point. Anything moves, including leaves, and we talked about that, how he's got an eye issue with farsightedness.
Concrete ducks.
Yes. So we are walking close to our driveway, and he's on point, and there's a rabbit not too far from the street, out in the middle of nowhere, where you wouldn't think a rabbit. I mean, we got red fox and coyotes and hawks. We got some predators that would look at that as dinner.
It's like a menagerie of death. Everything's a meal.
Laid out on a platter out in the middle of the yard for them. It's not like under a bush. Mm-hmm. No place where if I'm building a nest, it's not going to be in the middle of the yard with no tree cover. And so here's this lump of dinner sitting there, and he's on point, and I'm like, okay, we don't need to entertain this idea. Let's go. And he's like, no, I'm on point. There's something there. And I'm like, Geoffrey, I see it. Let's go. Come on. The rest of his body is coming along with me, his head, and he's still pointing.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, come on. It goes running off finally, and I go walking over there after I put the dog in, and there's a nest of little babies that would fit in a teacup.
Oh.
Along comes Adam mowing the yard. And all of a sudden, I don't know how to describe it other than, you know, when you're looking at Roman candles and there's like one ball that goes up and then all of a sudden it's many.
Right.
Well, they're so small, you see the grass move, but you don't see the little rabbits until they finally like clear the grass tops.
Running for their lives
as he's mowing.
Gleefully.
Yeah, he's clueless on what's going on. And I stopped him and I go, hey, man, Geoffrey and I were walking this morning, and I noticed over there's a rabbit nest. And he goes, yeah, I just ran over it, and there's fur every place. And I go, okay, because I saw one running to escape you. And he goes, yeah.
I got him, too.
And so he, like, nudges it with his foot. I was doing yard work at the time, so I grab it, and it's just fine. It's just huddled there. So I go back over, and I part the fur, and there's, like, 6 more just down there hiding out. And so I stuck it back in the nest, put the fur back over it, no harm, no foul. Feeling pretty good about myself. There's no headless rabbit story going on there.
This time.
Until yesterday. So I'm mowing. Apparently the babies had decided to go out for a stroll in the evening. And Geoffrey's out there. I think we're a couple now. Officially, we're a couple. And so he's supervising my mowing, and all of a sudden the same thing, like spray from a shotgun or something. There are these
rabbits,
brown fur going every place, except he doesn't know these aren't toys. And
chew toy.
He chases one down and he brings it to me in his mouth. And so I grab it and it's okay. And I take it back over and I put it in the nest. And now I'm sitting here thinking, God, I hope I don't hit a rabbit because you can't see them.
Right.
And I don't, but another one goes sprinting off and he grabs it and he brings it over to me in his mouth. And I think this one may have had a heart attack.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, you're like, it's like being swallowed by a whale.
Exactly. Gray whale.
Right. And so I went over and I put it in the nest and I thought, okay. Back up to 2 years ago, and there's this rabbit that's got its nest up at mom's in this ground cover. I don't know it. And I'm just walking the dog, and all of a sudden, dog has just got to go over here and smell. Doesn't care that he's on a choke chain. Doesn't matter. He's got to smell that spot. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so he's very specific about every step, very specific about every movement. And then all of a sudden, just head dives down into the ground cover, and little rabbits go everywhere.
Here we go again.
And I'm at an angle where I'm seeing him from behind. I don't see his face. And I see these rabbits, and the rabbits are small enough that their body moves faster than their legs can hop. And so they're like
tumbling.
Right. Kind of like a little kid running down a hill.
Right. You know? Falling and running.
You can't maintain.
No.
And I'm watching them go, and I'm trying to keep an idea of where they are. And then I notice like a little tuft of fur from the nest on his chin or something. And then he turns around to look at me, and there's this dangling foot.
Yuck.
And I went, buddy. And he's like, he's got no idea. I open his mouth, and there's a whole baby rabbit in his mouth, and I take it out, and it died of a heart attack in his mouth. Those hunting dogs, they grab them, but they grab them softly.
Correct.
He was gently
killing this rabbit.
with fear.
Yeah. Slowly closing his mouth. We went to an event down in downtown Carmel called Music on Main. They do it, I think, once a quarter or once a month.
They block the street?
Not even. It's just they put some musicians, half dozen of them, on various street corners just doing what they do.
Okay.
And one of my good friends was playing there last month in April.
Guitar?
Yes. Frank Bradford, shout out.
Was the opening act a Turner movie classic?
It was not. And he hadn't had anything to eat. And Jennifer says, well, I'll go get you a sandwich down at Muldoon. So they went down there and got him a club sandwich. And so he was on break. He got a break after every hour. He gets a 15-minute break. And so he took this sandwich, and he begins to dissect this sandwich. Jennifer's like, well, don't you like ham? No, I like ham. Don't you like turkey? Well, I like turkey. And he's like breaking it apart. And Jennifer's like, oh, my God, I'm watching myself. As he deconstructs the sandwich and turns it into a ham sandwich and a turkey sandwich by breaking it apart and taking all the bread and making not a mixed meat sandwich. Jennifer, whenever she eats, she always prepares it the way she likes it and usually orders it the way she wants it. Mm-hmm. And so to see Frank deconstructing and breaking this thing down and painstakingly putting a sandwich back together, she's like, oh my God, is this really what I look like? This is horrible. Last week we traveled to California, then to Phoenix, then to Tucson, then back to Phoenix, and then back to Indy.
Did you mow at each stop?
I did not mow.
Oh, okay.
And as we returned around 11 o'clock to the airport on Monday, climb off the plane and dragging ourselves down to the baggage claim area, and we're standing there waiting and notice that there's 4 American airline flights have come in simultaneously at 11 o'clock at night. You know, they have a skeleton crew at best that late at night unloading bags, so we were patiently waiting. And I turned around and looked at this guy, and there was a guy behind me up against the glass many feet away, and he's taking a COVID test.
Nice. So wait a minute. Was he a passenger?
Yes.
On your flight?
Hard to say.
Oh, okay.
Because there are literally people from 4 flights.
I gotcha.
I'm looking at this guy.
And you know because they're sticking a thing up his nose?
Yes, and then he's sticking it in the little box.
Oh, nice.
He's got it looking at his watch.
Oh, good.
I mean, he's doing the whole thing.
In the open?
Yeah, in the open.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking, okay, does he think he has it and gave it to people? Does he think he just got it?
On the flight?
On the flight. What is the mindset of this person taking a COVID test, waiting for his luggage?
Is his last name Paranoia? Seat for one, Paranoia. Seat for one.
I've got 15 minutes to kill. Maybe I should go ahead and take that COVID test.
And so somebody is administering the test to him.
No, he's doing it himself.
Oh, he's doing it by himself.
Oh, yeah, just sitting there by himself.
I thought somebody was gloved up.
No.
Okay.
He's just sitting there killing time, taking a COVID test.
Are you the guy that was talking the entire flight? There's always the random coughing guy on the plane anyway.
Anytime you hear the hacking and coughing, you think, oh boy, here we go. We're in first class with the fine china and metal silverware. We were not packing Gen Pop.
Okay. So do they have air purifiers in first class?
Drop the oxygen mask. Could I have an oxygen mask, please?
What was on the menu?
It was a chicken enchilada.
Well, there you go.
It was good with a little side salad. And then for dessert, Haagen-Dazs ice cream.
I thought you were going to say creme brulee. Did you get to pick?
You could pick. It was either the chicken enchilada or the stuffed pepper. And I wasn't about to ask the guy what it was stuffed with.
Baby rabbits.
Shrimp casserole. Jennifer, would you like a bite? Hi, this is Andy. If you enjoyed listening to our podcast, please be sure to subscribe and share. Remember, laughter is contagious. Help us spread it by telling a friend.